Welcome to Topical America. Thank you. Where each and every week we discuss and divulge various topics, leaving you, the viewer, better informed. I am Joe Harvey, and this week's topic is online gambling addiction. Let me start out by asking this question. If an enemy came into your home and threatened you and the ones you love, wouldn't you undoubtedly take action to protect yourself and those you care about? There is a faceless enemy lurking around today, seeking to steal from you, and yes, even kill you. This enemy is online gambling addiction. I chose this topic because I was rather unfamiliar with not only what exactly online gambling addiction is, but just how devastating this faceless enemy can be. So, just what is online gambling, and how can it be an addiction? According to Gamblers Anonymous, gambling addiction, also known as compulsive gambling, is a type of impulse control disorder. Compulsive gamblers cannot control the impulse to gamble, even when they know their gambling is hurting themselves or their loved ones. Gambling is all they think about and all they want to do, no matter the consequences. Compulsive gamblers keep gambling, whether they are up or down, broke or flush, happy or depressed. Even when they know the odds are against them, even when they cannot afford to lose, people with a gambling addiction cannot stay away from the bet. According to this book and many electronic articles which I have read, there are some myths and facts regarding gambling. Myth 1. As long as everything is kept in order and under control, there is no problem. Fact is, gamblers can have a problem without being totally out of control. Problem gambling is any gambling behavior that disrupts your life. If you are preoccupied with gambling, spending more and more time and money on it, chasing losses, or gambling despite serious consequences, you have a gambling problem. Myth 2. You have to gamble every day to be a problem gambler. Fact. A gambler may gamble frequently or infrequently. Gambling is a problem if it causes problems. Myth 3. Problem gambling is not really a problem if the gambler can afford it. Fact. Problems caused by gambling are not just limited to finances. Too much time spent on gambling can lead to destructive friendships. And myth 4. Partners of gamblers often drive gamblers to gamble. Fact is, gamblers often rationalize their behavior and blame others for their gambling behavior. Evidence shows that people who gamble do so because of the easy access and availability. People in lower socioeconomic class are more prone to gambling, as well as those who are unemployed. Gender studies indicate that men in their 20s to 30s are addicts with slot machines, horse bets, and sports, and women are more into bingo and slot machines. However, no one is immune from becoming a gambling addict, given the right opportunity. Gambling addiction can include loneliness, depression, and is a high contributor to suicide. Let me tell you a very typical story to illustrate just how easy a gambling addiction can spiral out of control. Mark Erickson was an accountant from Phoenix. He was in his early 30s, had a wife and kids, and always craved a piece of the action. One day, he decided to bet on sports over the internet. He said, "I've heard other people compare gambling to a cocaine addiction. The high you get from that, and that is the euphoria I felt. It becomes an all-consuming activity. The lining up the money, the handicapping of the game, the betting of the game, the watching of the game, win or lose, it did not matter to me. It just set me up to bet again." 3.5 years ago, Erickson accrued $400,000 in gambling debt. Desperate, he began stealing from his clients. And when they caught on, he left his family and fled. He said, "I became this person I did not know. I thought this must be what I have got to do. I got myself into this mess, and I've got to get myself out of it." The situation became so serious that Erickson contemplated killing himself. He considered going to Mexico to end his life. Mark Erickson is a compulsive gambler. According to the Good Morning America article, there are estimated 6 million people who deal with this problem in the United States. As gambling on the internet becomes more popular and more sites crop up, those numbers are expected to increase. The problem is affecting younger people as well. Drawn in by the popularity of poker, half of all men in college are gambling on a monthly basis. even though betting on sports is illegal everywhere in the U.S. except Nevada. Nevertheless, the industry rakes in mind-boggling amounts of cash. By some estimates, $7 billion is wagered on the Super Bowl alone in casinos, online, and with bookies. It is now high season for sports betting, the college bowl games, the NFL playoffs, and the Super Bowl. After 23 days on the run, Mark Erickson turned himself in. He served a year in prison and works for a compulsive gambling hotline. He credits a 12-step program to helping him overcome his problem. Congress outlawed internet gambling in 2006 because of the serious problems that other countries were having with it. Online gambling is hard to control and track because with a click of a mouse, even a teenager at home could become a gambling addict, despite any safeguards. Last year, the Obama administration gave a green light for states to allow internet gambling for state residents only. And now with this federal ruling, it might be easier for lawmakers on Capitol Hill to approve internet poker, especially as government is eager for new revenue. It is estimated that online poker alone would bring in the U.S. $10 billion. That's a lot of money, but at what cost to the American people? I want government to affirm the values of good ideas and hard work and not play a significant role in aiding the belief in the roll of the dice or the shuffle of a card deck. The following signs are red flags of a gambling addiction. Are you secretive about your gambling? Do you gamble even when you do not have the money? Do you borrow money on a continuous basis? Do your bills become overdue? Are you fighting thoughts of depression and or suicide? Are family and friends worried about you? Like any problem, gamblers often need the support of their family and friends to help them in their struggle to stop gambling. But the decision to quit has got to come from them. There are safeguards in place to help with online gambling addiction. They include support groups like Gamblers Anonymous, cognitive behavior therapy, and software you can buy for your computer that will actually prohibit any gambling. This information will help on the job because knowledge is power. Knowing that this faceless enemy not only exists, but seeks to harm and destroy our lives should make us alerted to the various signs. We can vote appropriately for lawmakers that feel the same way as we do, and direct coworkers to sources of help if they confide in us with their struggle with online gambling addiction. We do not need to be uninformed victims, but aware of the dangers that this faceless enemy presents and take the necessary precautions. Thank you for joining me today on Topical America.